Hey folks, what's going on? I am Aunt Pruitt. Hope you folks are doing well. I'm unbelievable as always. I am in a good mood right now because my belly's full. I actually ate before podcasting. That doesn't happen very often. No, anyway, this is the Smartphone Photographers Community Hangout on Air. We get together every week, and sit down and talk about different tips and tricks that can help make you a better smartphone photographer. You know, because everybody doesn't have $400 or $500, $1,000, $2,000 or more to go out and buy these fancy DSLR cameras. Everybody just don't have that. But most people would still like to take some really nice shots with the cameras that they have. That's where we come in. We show you how. You know, it takes a little bit of work sometimes, but a lot of times it's just in a snap and you can do it. We got some moderators in here with us tonight, as well as another community member. Actually, he's a first timer, but I'm going to go through and introduce these guys, and then we'll get on with our little hangout on air. So first off, let me go up to Maine. Holler at my man, Mr. Joey Kelley. How you doing, bro?
Oh, I am, well, I was going to say amazing as always, but shoot, you took the tagline. And
I've never said amazing as always.
Oh, whatever, you know, yeah. Unbelievable, right, that's it. Yeah. Well, in that case, I am, like, abnormal as always.
It's a shocker.
Now that's it. That's my new tagline. Abnormal as always. But no, things are going well up here in Maine. Actually, we are having a atypical winter for Maine thus far. It has been warm and actually quite pleasant to go outside and whatnot. So it feels almost like a very dreary spring instead of December. So. So
it doesn't feel like Maine, in other words.
No, heck no. Last year at this time, I'm not even kidding you, we literally had 4 feet of snow on the ground. And we got 2 feet on November 3rd. It melted down to about half by the end of that week, but by the time Christmas has rolled around, we had almost 6 feet on the ground in places.
Good.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So last year was a good old-fashioned winter.
I'll stay down here in the South. Yeah. Appreciate you joining us, my man. It's good to see you as always. Next up, we'll go on over to Tejas, another moderator, my man, Mr. Michael King. How you doing, brother?
Really good. Looking forward to Christmas with our finally a nice night. Nice day on Christmas with a high of 85. But they said by New Year's we're going to have a high of 40.
Oh my God.
On behalf of the entire state of Maine, shut up.
So not right, dude. Good to see you as always, Mr. King. Appreciate you joining in this evening. Next up and lastly, we got a newbie in the house. We're gonna go up to, I believe he's near Boston somewhere, if I'm correct. But
Arlington to be more specific, but
oh, okay. See,
close enough.
I don't know a map. Come on, man.
They all end it.
Please welcome my man, Mr. Charlie Hoover. How you doing, brother?
Good, very good.
First time in. I'll go ahead and tell you now. Don't get nervous. We will talk junk about you on air. We will talk crap about your photos on there. But that's
good.
Typical.
It's fine.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, Charlie.
I don't claim to be a photographer, so.
Oh, okay. Tell us a little bit about yourself, since you're fairly new to the community, and this is your first time on the air with us. So let us know a little bit about you.
Well, let's see. I mostly fix computers and networks and stuff for people here in my worker-owned co-op here in Boston. But besides that, I sort of am rather on the geek side of things. I do the Geek Question of the Day here on G+, pretty much almost every day.
Yeah, just about every day. I can't think of the time you've missed.
Yeah, I miss a couple here and there, but and I also do the Geekscape of the Day pretty much every day here on G+, and also on Twitter.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and yeah, besides that, I fix things and listen to lots and lots of tech podcasts. So.
That's awesome, man. Well, appreciate you joining.
Every once in a while, I take a picture. So.
Every once in a while. Yeah, I do see him on Instagram sharing some nice shots from up there, and we can tell when it's fall and winter up there. It's a lot of fall colors in his photos that he shares with this G4, right?
Yeah, my little LG G4, this little guy. It's but yeah, it's nice because this year it's like he was saying up in Maine, it's mild. It's mild as hell here too in Boston. I think it's gonna be 60 degrees on Christmas, which is
Wow.
last year, like he was saying, we were like up to literally our eyeballs in snow. So, which is funny because Google Plus does the automatic year in review thing.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So it's showing me all these pictures, like these little like things of all these winter scenes where like we're all buried under like 15 feet of snow, and I'm looking out the window. It's raining right now, which is bizarre for the middle of December. Anyway,
That's awesome, man.
A friend of mine went out on his motorcycle today.
In Maine.
Yep.
Wow.
I caught him on the street corner, and I yelled out the window, "You idiot! Take that home and put it in the shed."
It's not that time of year for it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and get into it like we normally do. First off, we didn't hang out last week, and I'll just go ahead and be straight up about it. Right now, this is what we call year end, and everybody in this hangout has some type of occupation of some sort to where we don't just sit around and take photos all day. We actually try to get some other stuff done and try to earn a living. And for me personally, year end starts, usually around the end of October and lasts through the second or third week of January, which means I am really busy with clients and getting reports done and yada, yada, yada. And it's a drag, a lot of long days of work. And last week I was flat out, I was not in the position mentally to be on camera. I just couldn't do it, and I don't want to get on camera and give you guys crap commentary. I try to do a little better than that, but sorry for last week, and hopefully we'll be able to have smooth sailing, throughout the rest of this year, even though I think, is Christmas on a Thursday this year? I don't think it is. Or is it?
It's a Friday. Christmas Eve is the Thursday.
Christmas Eve is a Thursday and Friday.
Okay. All right. Well, Christmas Eve may be questionable for some folks, but I think I'll still be on the air eventually. And then New Year's Eve, I guess that's a Thursday as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, New Year's Eve is not going to happen. I'm just going to warn you now. New Year's Eve, I will not be hosting a hangout.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I will, like I did on Thanksgiving.
Well, I believe I'm going to be traveling that day.
But I'll be at a New Year's Eve party.
So I'm pretty sure I won't be hosting. But Mr. Kelley, he is more than welcome and capable of hosting a hangout for the end of the year. And another side note, 10 days ago on December the 7th, the smartphone photographers community turned 3 years old. So happy birthday to the smartphone photographers community, and thank you to all the members that are in here, and thank you to the moderators that's been here with me, and it's been a lot of fun these last couple of years. I don't know about you folks, but I have learned a ton of stuff from the members, just showing little tips and tricks on how to get a better shot out of my measly little Droid X. You know what I'm saying? It's been that long, man, and it's been a fun ride, and it's nice to translate this stuff into other cameras as well too. But yeah, anyway, so now on to this week's. We had a theme from Mr. Kelley, right? Didn't you propose a theme for our challenge this week?
Yep, I was the person who won the previous challenge, the cropping one.
Mm-hmm.
And the thought was on this one, the title is Life Where You Live. And my intent was to simply say, okay, look, show me, as I bumped the microphone and whacked myself in the chin, show me something that exists only where you are. Show me local color. Show me something that is unique about the area in which you live. And then there were a bunch of people that come in, there's nothing unique about the area that I live. And I went, well, hold on, that's not true, because there are things that I take for granted as to how life is, and that's not how life is everywhere.
Right.
You know, so and I really left it very generic because I wanted to let people play with things and see where they took the idea. And I think that the range of shots that we've got this week kind of reflects that it's not a specific challenge. We've got everything from Christmas parades to the world's largest six-pack of beer, to a castle, and a lot of other interesting things. Very nice shot of a bridge that I'm sure we'll talk about. But this was not one of those specific challenges to photograph something specific or in a specific way. We left it kind of open. And I think, quite frankly, that it's a mixed match. It's nice to get an open challenge like this every now and again.
No, I definitely agree with that. But I also agree with some of the comments that were shared in this particular challenge that depending on where you live, it can be pretty run-of-the-mill, if you will. You know what I mean? And I totally get where you're coming from as far as things that you take for granted. I remember when I visited New York City, and I was a total tourist walking around with my buddy in there and looking at him, and he had to stop and think for a second. He's like, you know what? You're right. That is pretty cool, but damn it, I see it every day.
Every day, yep.
You know.
To give you all an idea of my perspective, there are only about 1.2 to 1.5 million people in the entire state that I live in. There's approximately, 5 million in the borough of Manhattan alone.
Right.
Okay?
Wow.
So up here to see 1,000 people gathered in one spot is like, okay, there's a murder, or there's a drug bust, or there's something really, 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 really cool going on.
Yeah.
And in 1,000 people in the middle of Manhattan is nothing. So that's what I'm getting at, is that, you know, life is very different no matter where you live.
Yeah, true. Well, that was a good challenge suggestion, my man. So what we're going to do now is take a look at some of the shots that have been submitted for the challenge and voted upon, and we'll go through and critique them, discuss what we see, what we like, don't like, so on and so forth.
You may want to read something because I just now voted.
Oh, it don't matter. I've already found the winner. You're a little late. All right. So let's go ahead and take a look at some shots here. All right, I'm gonna share my screen. We'll go over to this one here. Boom. All right, you gentlemen see my screen okay? Yeah? No?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. So let me go full screen. And let's pick out something random here. All right. This one stuck out in my head. This one comes from my man Marcelo Alejandro Guerrena. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. If I didn't, my apologies. I don't know where he shot this at. There's no geolocation information on there.
He is located in Argentina.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, so we have a shot down in Argentina, and this totally gives me a whole different perspective now. Because I don't know about you guys, but when I think of Argentina, I think of it being, number one, I think of the mountains, of course, but then I also think of how cold it gets down there in that part of South America.
Yeah,
and
but only up in the mountains.
And this shot here, only thing I don't particularly care for on it is I think he could have cropped out some of the sky. I don't think all of that sky is necessary, you know. But I do like his style here. It sort of reminds me of that HDR scape filter that you find inside of the Snapseed photo editor.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought this was very well done. Other than that there, I think you could just get rid of some of that, and this will still be a strong.
Down a little more.
You know.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, drop it down a little more.
A little more, you think? Let's see.
Right there, right there.
Yeah,
Having
that's
trouble
really
hearing you, Mike.
Make it
That's
more
really
like a
right.
wide field of view kind of thing.
Yeah,
There you go. Right there.
yeah,
I
that
didn't.
looks good.
I forgot my mic is one of these so directionals.
But that looks good though. I like his shot, and he used a. I guess this is a One Plus.
Yep.
What camera is that? Okay,
It says
a
it's a
One
one
Plus.
plus.
One
Yeah.
plus one.
Very good, very good. And he got 5 votes on there, so people apparently like this shot. Anything else I would have done differently with it? Maybe a little denoising if he has that opportunity, which he does now, but we'll get into that later on. But that's about it. What do you guys think about the shot? Let's start with you, Charlie. Pick
Oh,
on you
sure.
first.
The one who knows nothing about photography. Great.
We'll pick on you
Ah,
first.
Fine, I see how it goes. Looks HDRE. It looks good. I don't know. Like I said, like you said with the cropping, that's about it. Looks like the saturation's up a little bit, but
Yeah.
I like it because it brings out whatever colors are in that village there.
Yeah, and I do appreciate that. He's able to get this, especially with this red building here being front and center. It's sort of
I just wish it was that warm here.
just.
Not that I'm really complaining because it's 52 and.
I was gonna say, you keep complaining to see what kind of weather you have tomorrow, brother.
Oh, we're waiting for it. Trust me, we're just waiting for that slug in the face when we're not looking. So
What are your thoughts on this, Mr. King?
One word. The Porter's crop.
So just take it down to a 16:9 aspect ratio,
Yep.
and that's it. Nothing else.
Right there.
By the way, Mike, that was 3 words.
Well, one sentence. Asshole.
Hey, dude, come on. Jeez.
Okay. No, the Porter's crop. Because I would come up just a tad.
Just a tag come up on it? Okay, let's
Yeah.
see here. Right about.
Right there. Because right there, all that blue sky on the top was just, distracting. And that would really, right there, of course, they were also zoomed the picture in a little bit, but
Yeah.
that really, right there, looks really good.
Puts
Yes,
a
it's
little more
very-
focus on the village.
Right. The village, and then in the background, the mountains.
Yeah.
Because to me, the clouds were just a little. The blue sky was kind of distracting.
All right. What are your thoughts, Mr. Kelley?
Well, keep in mind, of course, a lot of what we say on this podcast or hangout, whatever you want to call it, is artistic differences in style and whatnot. It is not necessarily a criticism of any one particular person or any one particular photographic style.
With that said,
that having been said, I actually like the way this is shot.
mm-hmm.
I don't think I would, if I was going to crop it, I would crop it not quite as aggressively as has been suggested. I would probably come down keep going up, little right there. I would probably go to about there, and the reason why I say there is that gives you a almost little bit less than the rule of thirds in terms of you've got sky and clouds, mountain, and foreground, and it's a little high on the sky, but it's not nearly as much as it was.
Yeah.
But I have to admit, the thing I really like about this is the contrast in colors, and further, what I like about it is that this really gives you the open sky feeling for where he lives.
Uh-huh.
And as a result, I'm questioning whether it needs to be cropped at all, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
That having been said, I also think there's a nice little commentary here about we're outside of the big city, because in the background you can see there are skyscrapers and whatnot, probably further down the valley, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
But right here, this is a small, I'm assuming, relatively poor village in comparison to the city that you can see beyond it. So there's a
Indeed.
social commentary here,
Indeed.
in addition to the obvious artistic nature. I like it. I
wow.
like what has been done here. Now, if you start talking about that kind of an aggressive crop, I could definitely see that too as
Right.
being an option.
And
Mhm.
where you zoomed in, I liked it even better because there you see the
It
the
gets all
foreground,
perspective.
the mountain.
Actually, yeah, actually, I really like it because you can actually I didn't see the city before.
Yeah.
Mm.
I think
So-
you get a full perspective this way, in my
Yes.
opinion.
I really
Yeah.
like when you zoomed in like that. I think that really made everything
Yeah,
kind
you-
of come in a little bit.
Oddly enough, it actually gives you more depth.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Because I
Yeah,
can see
it's-
the skyscrapers, but I mean the taller buildings in the city, but it just by coming in like that, and you still have that mountain. In fact, the mountain's even in better focus.
Yeah,
Mm.
it's a great picture.
Yeah,
either
so there
way.
you go, Mr. Gorena. I would suggest that you, I'm hoping not butchering that too bad, I apologize. English is my first language. But I think you've got a nice photo there, and maybe consider throwing a crop on it. But I like it, quite frankly, just the way it is, honestly.
He did well. He did well.
It definitely shows that even though there's a big city there, the sort of nature sort of just surrounds it.
Oh,
Right.
yeah. Oh, yeah. We think of
Beautiful.
ourselves as being, big and we can build tall and we strong and da-da-da. Yeah, well, those are probably 30, 40-story buildings, maybe more, and they
Right.
are just dwarfed by
Right.
that mountain.
Right.
Right. And don't forget, they probably don't build very big because Argentina is very seismic active.
Yeah.
True.
Mm.
Again, nature speaks.
Mhm. Talk to Californians about that.
All right, so let's switch on over to another shot here. Who do I want to pick on?
You can
Man.
skip both of mine because nobody liked them, apparently.
Go ahead and put them in there. This is just
You know what, Joey?
Joey's down.
This one did get my attention. I didn't vote for it, but it did get my attention. Let's take a look at this one here.
Mm.
All right. Let's see. Joey says, I don't know how many of you are aware of the reefs across America's goals. Oh, yeah, that's good stuff, man.
I'll give you the 5-second summary, then I'll let you guys critique. This is a photograph. I will admit it was a secondary photograph because I did most of this with my DSLR and grabbed a few with the smartphone specifically for this challenge.
Okay.
But what this is, there's an organization up here in Maine called Wreaths Across America. It's a nonprofit. The goal of the organization is to remember, honor, and teach about our veterans and their sacrifice. A
Mhm.
secondary goal to that, and the big visible movement to honor veterans is to put a Christmas wreath, and the goal is to put a Christmas wreath on every serviceman's grave in Arlington National Cemetery. As a result, you need truckloads, literally, of wreaths. And Wreaths Across America, they work all year long, literally, to produce these wreaths. And they sell a bunch locally from the local wreath manufacturer, and others are sponsored to be put on wreaths on graves at Arlington. And literally truckloads of these wreaths go down. I think this year it was 13 trucks, and it has been as many as 29 that I've heard of, have left this one point in eastern Maine, almost near the Canadian border, and they travel all the way to Arlington, making stops along the way, dropping off wreaths, and seeing veterans and being cheered on by people waving flags and police escorts and all of this stuff. And it's a multi-thousand person effort all across the country.
Mm-hmm. We
It
had ours
starts in
here.
Maine.
We had our version of the Wreaths Across America on Pearl Harbor Day.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. This you'll actually find that there is probably a Wreaths Across America ceremony in Texas somewhere, if you go on their website. And it's a huge effort, and I'm very proud to be a supporter of it. If not in deed, at least in photograph. And it is something that, although affects the entire country, it is uniquely Maine. So that's why I picked it to be the subject of my first life where you live type photo. So there you go.
You
Go
know,
ahead, critique away.
And I appreciate that explanation there. And yes, I have heard of wreaths across America, and it's I love a lot of the nonprofit organizations that get together, um, not only during the holidays but throughout the year too, and try to do good for for mankind here. So that's good vibes all in this shot here. Now, that's not the first thing that came to my mind when I saw your photo, though, Joey. When I saw your photo, I thought about myself traveling, going to the mountains, going to like going to see a football game, like when I went to Tennessee to see them play, or when I drove to Louisville to see Clemson play up there, and just driving through mountainous areas on roads that look just like this, with little things on the side of the road for people to stop and look at, little touristy attractions, if you will. And that's all that I saw. It's like, this looks like just another rest stop or anything. I didn't quite catch the story from this shot. Now, granted, you dictated it very well over here, and I get it now, but when I first looked at the photo, I didn't quite get what it was. All I saw was, okay, these are some trucks coming down a mountainous road, and they're probably going rather slowly down said mountainous road. But that's my 2 cents on it.
Mhm.
And get rid of your hands down there in the shadow, But,
Yeah, that's the big thing.
But that's that. I didn't really have anything else that I could add on this shot, though. What are your thoughts on this, Mr. King?
I had a feeling it was something because there was some kind of event, because there's people on the side and you see their local fire departments out there. And whenever you see them and there's no lights on, that means there is some kind of ceremony going on, and that's what that is. And I read it, said, oh yeah, I know who this is.
Okay, well that makes sense.
But you're right. He needed to crop up a little bit, take his cotton picking shadow of his hands and camera out of the scene.
There ain't no cotton this far north. We got potatoes.
Taters. Your thoughts, Mr. Hoover?
I think you guys pretty much summed it up. Now that I know the backstory, it makes it more interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And it threw me off for a second because the what's the bridge or building behind that with the?
It's like a lighthouse of some
It's
sort.
a bridge.
Yeah.
That is the brand new,
that's a bridge.
few-year-old Verona Island Bridge.
Oh, okay. All right.
It is the only one of its kind, or the first one of its kind, to be built, I believe, anywhere in the U.S.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
Nice.
And it's a local landmark. So that was part of I left it in the shot intentionally
Right.
to anchor it, as we call it, or place name the photo in the photo visually. So if
Mhm.
anybody knew what that was, they would know instantly where this was taken.
It threw me off for like a split second because it vaguely looked like the Zakim Bridge, but the terrain around it was all wrong. So
Mhm.
it's like a sort of shape to it. But that's interesting.
Yeah, one of the cable stay bridge. But yeah, right there, and by cropping it like that,
Maybe a little
that
higher.
improved the picture 5,000%.
I don't know about 5,000, but it does help.
I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt.
Oh, sure you are. Jeez.
Mhm.
Good grief. But that was taken with what, a Nexus 6, right, Joey?
Yeah, Nexus 6 HDR mode. Although, by the way, I'm starting to mention this in the newer photos. I have Marshmallow on my Nexus 6,
Yep.
and they have updated the camera app.
Yeah, I noticed that, and it's taken a second to get used to it. It
Yes,
looks
it
sort of
has.
iOS-y.
And I don't always like it, but some of the things I do like. One of the things I like is that HDR seems to process faster.
Yeah, the process is great.
Yeah.
I'll give
That
you
that
that.
I like. But I mentioned that specifically because if someone's trying to replicate this and they don't have Marshmallow, it wouldn't possibly work as well. But yeah, this is the stock app, not cropped, no edits, straight off the camera, HDR plus mode. That's it.
Sweet.
Marshmallow. Good.
Well done, sir. All right, so let's take a look at another
I wish I
shot
had
here.
submitted a bloody photo.
What's that?
I said I wish I had submitted a bloody photo. I've been so busy. I haven't.
I've been busy. I've
No, you
With
get a
this-
pass this time. You get a pass.
been cotton picking busy too with all because
Barely
we
too much-
close after Christmas. We close until the first of the year.
Oh,
Got to get it in. All right, we're going to look at two more before we look at our winning shot. This one hits close to home.
oh,
My man Michael Wilson. I knew Michael Wilson was not too far from me geographically, but I didn't realize he was literally in my backyard.
is he a stalker or?
He is the guy with the stepladder and the phone over the fence.
And the drone that flies over the house every day.
You know, because I mean, I've seen him post a lot of different things, and it's usually like Duke basketball related and whatnot. And Durham, North Carolina, is not too far from here, you know. So I just sort of assumed he was, you know, an hour or so from me or whatnot. But this is at the Catawba Creek Park in Cramerton, North Carolina, which is about 6 or 7 minutes from where I live, and I've shot this shot myself a handful of times. It's a very, very beautiful little park. Don't go there because the mosquitoes will own you when you get there.
Mosquitoes. You haven't seen the mosquitoes. You come here and see the mosquitoes with the FAA registration number on the tail.
That's funny.
Sorry, you guys, neither one of you have any idea. Go into the dark woods of Maine in July. Trust me.
Don't do it.
It's not that they are big, it's that they're numerous.
They are legion.
You off.
Yeah.
Aliens? No. Mosquito abduction.
Mosquito abduction. Oh gosh. I love this shot though. Like I said, this is not too far from here.
It's all mosquitoes and fisher cats.
Fisher cats. Good gosh. Now, what camera did he use on this? I'm not sure, but I could tell he did his processing in Lightroom Mobile, obviously. Dang, Michael, I wish I knew what kind of camera you had, but this shot here, other than it hitting close to home and stroking my heart, I will now give you my critiques. First off, if you want to go with this grayscale look, go ahead and try to bring out some of the dark black levels in it to get a little more detail out of it. The sky is really, really, really white. You know, it's a little blown out, as you say. All of that could have been toned down in the exposure settings and in the white levels and black level settings right there inside of the Lightroom Mobile photo editor. The clarity would have been the next thing on there that you could have touched up just a tad. Not too much, but just a little bit, because you could still see some of the ripple effects from the water anyway right there. But other than that, man, well, no, maybe try to straighten it a hair too. Because I struggle, I can't speak for everybody, but I know personally when I shoot bridge shots, I struggle with the alignment. And Joey, you and I, we've talked about having the grid on your phone when you go to shoot. And I have the grid on my phone, but the problem is I line up the shot based on the bridge instead of lining it up based on the actual natural horizon back there. So it sort of looks like things are off tilt just a little bit. But
well, not every bridge is straight, not every bridge is level,
right.
Which is, you know, a problem. Like, for instance, in this particular one, I can see that even the legs on the abutments are not straight up and down like you would think they would be. So if you were going to decide on that, but yeah, when you're done, I'll take over.
No, but no, I just, like I said, it's hard to sort of train myself to focus in on the horizon line as my point of alignment instead of the nice, beautiful bridge that's right there that gets my attention. And this thing, if you go there at night, this is such a beautiful scene. This bridge lights up with these little soft lights right here. And the lake, the river is so nice and calm. It's such a pretty, pretty little area right there. I may try to go back out there sometime soon to shoot at night, get like some sunset shots or something. But that's my 2 cents on that. Mr. Kelley, what were your thoughts?
Well, first I have a creative, and then I have a contest, or challenge, excuse me, thought.
Okay. All right.
My first thought is that artistically, Mike, and don't take this personally, I wish you had dropped to a knee.
Yeah.
Because this, to me, a shot like this is all about symmetry. The showing of the mirror reflection of the objects in the water. You've done a very good job of centering the bridge vertically and more or less horizontally as well, but what I would have done would have been to have put the sort of, if you will, frame that dock in the background with the upper and the with the bridge and the reflection of the bridge being the top and bottom of the frame. So in other words, where the reflection is cut off along the bottom, I wish he had been a little bit lower and you could see the entire bridge in its reflection.
Yeah, that'd have been cool symmetrically.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. Is it, to me, that's the golden opportunity of a shot like this, when you've got still water or almost still water, and you've got something like this that is so curved and so artistic in and of itself. Show me that curve and artistic nature in reflection as well. And that's my critique on the photo. I agree also with what you were saying about try messing with the contrast and whatnot as well. But also, if he had gone to a knee instead of taking this at, I'm assuming, a full height, the sky would not have been as much of a problem, because it wouldn't have been, there wouldn't be as much of it. And it would, in your eye, would be naturally much more drawn to the two bridges in symmetry than in the sky being blown out. Now, that's my photo comment. My challenge comment is that although you and Mike know where this is, this, in my opinion, doesn't really tell you about life where this bridge is, because there's nothing to identify it without you knowing where it is.
No unique identifier, if you will.
Correct. I mean, I mean, obviously you knew right where it was. Obviously Mike knows right where it was. There's probably 5 million people out there that live in your general vicinity that would, you show them this picture, they go, "Oh yes, I know. I walked across that bridge with my dog every day." Blah blah blah. But for those of us that aren't there, this means nothing.
It's another bridge in a park.
It's a bridge in a park. Whoop de frickin' do.
I feel you on that.
You know,
which makes this challenge difficult. You know.
Yeah. You know, that's again, that's the hard part. I mean, you know, if you had a whole ton of people standing outside of a stadium waiting to get into a basketball game, and every single person's wearing a Duke uniform, then you kind of got an anchor, if you will.
Yes.
Photographically, you know that this is at least at a Duke game. Where might not be as important, but it's there. This, I got nothing. I mean, it's a bridge over water. I mean, is this the bridge over troubled water that Simon and Garfunkel sung about? I mean, I don't know.
Simon and Garfunkel.
Huh?
Simon and Garfunkel, not Simon Garfunkel.
Oh gosh.
It said,
Anyway, carry on.
Yeah, that's my comment on it. Other than that, it's a nice shot, Mike. I like it. But I don't personally feel that it was the best use of your photographic talents for the challenge in question.
All right, thank you, sir. Mr. Hoover.
Yeah. I think it's a pretty well done photo. I think the yeah, I would have made the angle definitely a little bit different. Like you said, lower, maybe a few steps to the left, that kind of thing. But yeah, something like if the challenge was to bring in something unique from, maybe there's like a sign on the bridge or something to kind of focus on the local part of it.
Yeah.
Or maybe where he's standing, like if it's a park, maybe there's something nearby that says, "Hey, this is blah blah park" or whatever.
Right.
Something, you know. But I don't know.
Right now, it's a bridge over a little small body of water.
Right.
Your thoughts, Mr. King?
One, I'm kicking myself. I had the perfect one. You can tell where it was because there's no other ship like it in existence. The battleship Texas at the San Jacinto Monument.
Nice.
And everybody would have known it because of history, because that's where we won our independence from Mexico. But as far as this thing, everybody's right. It would have been better if he would have kind of did something to one, lower the picture, no, lower his angle down to see the reflection, straighten it up a little bit, and really hit some of the contrast and kind of take some of the highlights out, make it flatten it because it's just so blown out. As far as the bridge, I voted for it, but it could have been better. And as everybody said, unless you knew where it is or what's going on, you kind of didn't know.
Right. All right. Well, Mr. Wilson and we're actually going to get together here eventually. Hopefully after I come back from CES and hang out, and we're going to go out and do a little photo walk together and see what we can capture on our phones. It's going to be fun.
Try not to phone it in.
Because I didn't realize he was this close. It's funny because I saw that shot and I'm like, I know that place. And I'm like, yeah, this looks familiar. And then this right here is like right behind it. I'm like, oh, dude, you're really in town. This is because I've eaten.
I like that
all
shot.
Up and down this spot here. This is good eating all on this little street. This whole little street might be 100 yards, if that. No, 100 yards is too long. It might be 50 yards. It's such a small town. But anyway, nice. We'll look at one more shot before we go to the winner. And I love.
By the way, I think that second shot you just showed is a better example of life where you live, because there are only so many of those little shops, I'm sure, if any. Probably none of those are even chains. They don't look like it.
Oh no, this is
that's definitely not chain.
Yeah. So I mean, that to me is a better example of the challenge. Might not be as good of a photo, but it's a better example of what we were looking for the challenge. At least what I was.
You mind reiterating why you think this is a better example of the challenge?
Well, it's very simple. I mean, this is the point of this was to find something unique, or at least quasi-unique, in your area that is not something that you see outside of where you live. And although I'm sure there are other takeouts, joints, and whatnot all around the country, I know there are, there's probably no other place in the world where there's that combination of stores and whatnot in that one spot. So that, to me, is more unique than some bridge that I can't identify over some body of water that I can't identify with some waterfowl that I can't even guess at.
All right. Yeah. Good call. All right, so let's pick on one more shot before the winner. And I love picking on her. But I think this one nailed it.
Could not have asked for a better example of what I was just talking about.
This shot nailed it, man. Shout out to Toni Kresen. I swear I love Toni. She really she's interesting and entertaining, and she's always I always root for her to be able to get out and get some nice photos.
And you gotta zoom in on the sign.
This here, Cross Lager. She's up in La Crosse, Wisconsin. And when I first glanced at it, all I saw was cross, because this lager text didn't really stand out to me at first. But then I was like, these are 3 cans of beer. And as I looked at it a little further, I was like, wait a minute, that's a tree back there. Holy crap, how big is this thing, And you hit the zoom.
Wow.
And you look down there. It is the world's largest six-pack.
Crazy.
How cool is that, man? Whoops, I didn't mean to click off. Let's go back. Sorry. Even though I only see 3 here, but I guess there's 3 more on the other side. But how cool is that, man? You get 3 huge. Yeah.
Zoom in again. You'll see the other cylinder buildings in the back. Just zoom in a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I said. I guess they're right back there.
Yeah, that's them right there.
It's just I just couldn't see it at first, but I love this shot, Toni. I think you nailed it with this challenge.
Should have been.
There's not much that you can do with this shot from a other artistic standpoint, but you hit the nail on the head as far as getting something that is unique to where you are, and I freaking love it. Gentlemen, what are your thoughts?
I like
Charlie?
it too.
Charlie?
1 second. Hold on, just posting something. Sorry, kicking something out the door. Don't mind me. Yeah, that I love the perspective of it.
Yeah.
That sort of it's just 3 cans of beer. Who cares? And then you start seeing how big the bloody thing is. It's pretty impressive.
Your thoughts, Mr. King?
I like it. When I said the first thing, said, "What the hell's 3? Just 3? I mean, 3 cans of beer? What the hell?" And then you started looking. You said, "Wait a minute. Those are buildings,
Mm-hmm.
and they're cylindrical." Said, "Okay." Then you zoom in and see what it is. Said, "Perfect," because you see the trees, and you see the shades, and said, and then you see the building on the other side. Said, "Okay, now I understand what it is. That is cool." You know, something like you almost would see on Route 66 as well. What's left of Route 66?
I was going to say that still exists, huh? Your thoughts, Mr. Kelley?
Well, so I had to Google it, and they've got an entire page on Roadside America
Such a nerd.
on this. No, I'm sorry. I was interested. I was like, "What the heck's what's the backstory here?" And apparently, this originally started in the late '60s.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm no. Just Google the world's biggest beer cans, world's largest 6-pack. It'll come. Yep, and you'll get it right there, Roadside America, top one. And yeah, this is just hilarious to me. I mean, you know, because the thing is that this is actually kind of a Canadian thing, which doesn't surprise me that in Wisconsin being so close to Canada that they might have gotten bit by the bug. But all across Canada, there are the world's largest X, the world's largest Y, the world's largest this, that, and the other thing, and it's like a thing that people drive across Canada to see all of these world's largest whatevers. Talk about the ultimate college road trip. Yeah, this is just I love it. It's pure unique spot. You cannot get any more unique than saying you have the world's largest X in your town. So I love it. I think it perfectly fit the challenge. You could argue a couple of the different things in regards to the artistic way it was shot or not, but to be honest, I could not find a better example of what I was looking for in the challenge, and I thought it was downright hilarious, and I'm surprised it did not win because of the number of people in the community that seem to consume beer.
Yes, exactly.
You know, also, they couldn't figure out. I guess they were not looking too closely and saying, "What? So it's just everybody can get a 6-pack of beer, just like we have Big Tex." Well, not us. It's in little D. In other words, Dallas.
Yeah.
The armpit of Texas.
So you have the world's largest deodorant.
Yeah, called Big Tex. Look up Big Tex. You'll see who I'm talking about.
I don't even drink it. I thought it was pretty interesting. So
it was great.
That's what's up. All right, so let's take a look at the winning shot here.
Oh, I do like the train lights. Oh, I love this one.
This one, my man Edwin Boatswain, he's starting to become a winning regular here in the challenges also. What camera did he use? What camera did he use? Doesn't say. Does it say? Crap.
Where is that shot? I'm looking for it. I can't even find. Oh, right there. Okay, got it.
Well, he's right on the Thames River.
No. I meant on the screen. I couldn't find it to look at it.
Okay.
I didn't think he won this. I missed it in the shuffle.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, he's over in London. Just in case you didn't know. And hey, this is the bridge. It's the bridge. You can't really get much more localized than this one here.
Unless it was London Bridge.
But right, unless it was that. Is it even called the London Bridge? I thought it was called something else.
The
But
London
whatever.
Bridge itself,
That's neither here
they
nor
took it
there.
down. It's somewhere in the United States, been reconstructed because it was just too dangerous for people to go across.
Okay.
It was replaced by something like Waterloo or something like that.
Yeah, I thought it was something else. All right, but anyway, with this shot here, I thought this is a very well done shot here, considering it's a nighttime photo, but he has just enough light out there available to him to where his camera didn't really freak out. Um, I don't know about you guys, but whenever I try to shoot photos at night, handheld with my smartphone, ooh, it's a challenge because it gets the what you call it, the ISO level jumps up, the shutter tries to wig out, and I end up getting a bunch of distorted, blurry, grainy crap shots. It just happens.
I wouldn't be surprised if he used a tripod on this.
Maybe, maybe.
Well, if you used, like I know my G4, if once you put that sucker into manual mode,
Yeah.
it does really good nighttime photography.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what he used, but if it's something like that, a lot of the newer phones, once you get them into manual mode,
Yeah.
it's amazing.
And I've used camera FV5, and I believe it's called Open Camera that was suggested by you, Mr. Kelley.
Who?
Open Camera, does that sound right?
Oh, yes, the app, yes. Yep.
Yeah, I've used that too, and it's nice being able to try to control some of those settings for those nighttime shots. But unfortunately, the Nexus 6 is limited when it comes to shutter speed.
I have not found that Open Camera has helped significantly with the Nexus 6. That's why I go back to the stock camera time and time again, because I haven't found any reason to go with Open. I like it, but one thing. Sorry, not to hijack. Are you done yet?
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. One thing that I absolutely love about this shot, when you look at the details of it, first of all, it doesn't give us the phone details for some reason, but it does give us the GPS coordinates. And one thing that is very interesting to me is that this is running at ISO 1200. To put that in context, the standard for 100 million years in film photography for low-grain landscape type shots was ISO 64. That would be Kodachrome 64. That would have taken Kodachrome 64 to take this same shot and have it exposed the same way would probably had to have been tripod mounted, and I would estimate somewhere between 30 seconds and 2 minutes to expose the film to get enough light in there to actually produce this same shot. Of course, at that point, all you're going to be doing is blurring the crap out of everything because you're not going to be able to stop the action and freeze it at all. So just to see a smartphone cranking out ISO 1200 and not having it look so grainy that it's unacceptable, to me, is just epically huge.
Yeah.
I don't even shoot with my SLRs at that high. I generally go no higher than about 400 if I can avoid it.
I can't say that. I've gone up to about, I want to say I've gone up to 28 a time or two on mine just to see what happens. But
if you'd ever seen the raw output before it goes through the process filter at that high ISO, you'd never go that high again. I'm not kidding you. It's the software that's making that possible. Which, of course, now you can argue that whether one way or another, is a good thing, bad thing. But the higher the ISO, the higher the grain in the shot. There's just no way around that. And the other thing that happens is your depth of field, which is the amount of picture that is in focus, gets reduced. And because of that, you'll notice that this has a very thin sliver of the photo where everything is in focus, and then the foreground and background are blurred. And I don't actually really know where the focus point is, to be honest.
Well, my focal point went right to the back of this vehicle. I mean, I know we have two pedestrians coming towards us right here on the left, but I went straight to this vehicle. And then I went over here to the skyline. and then I went to the light, and then I finally came back down to the pedestrians. But that's how my eyes and brain process the shot when I've looked at it every single time. Bam, 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 then bam. What are your thoughts, Mr. Hoover?
Uh-oh. I think he froze up.
I think you muted.
Nope. I muted myself. I was making some noise over here. Sorry.
Good.
Then I start talking. Yeah, I didn't realize where it was until I looked up at the map. Well, besides the fact that everyone's driving on the wrong side of the road. Or the right side, depending on where you are, I guess. But no, it's a really great shot. It's what's nice is because it is in London, it's not like a usual London shot.
Mm-hmm.
Where they try to like somehow jam Big Ben or something into the
or the eye or something like that.
There's lots of things in London that don't have that aren't those things.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a lot of neat stuff in London.
Oh, I mean it's a big ancient city, so you know. But I kind of like that about it. Doesn't try too hard.
Yeah.
And it's just a little snapshot of life. You know, there's no big event going on. It's just sort of nighttime traffic.
Yeah. Now, what about Charlie? You said earlier that you tap into manual mode on your LG G4.
Every once in a while to screw around. I don't know what I'm doing. So.
Is this on the stock camera for the LG G4, or is this another camera app?
Yeah, it's I can't really show it on camera, but it's got quite the dashboard.
Nice.
But the ISO goes up to 2700. The shutter speed goes to 1/6000th.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I don't know. There's a ton of things in here, so I don't really go into manual very often. Just if I really need to. But where it comes in handy is if you're trying to do anything macro.
Yeah.
Because the auto thing it just doesn't even it's fully capable of doing it, but the automatic sensor just goes ballistic when you try to do it. So.
I struggle with macro photography because I can't hold still long enough. I can't. I shake a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Gotta have that.
Yeah.
I couldn't take a picture with this if I didn't have OIS.
Yeah.
And I haven't found a tripod mount that will fit our Nexus 6s either.
I got one. It's a tight fit, but it fits. I'll send that to you.
Okay. Well, but if either of you are familiar with the concept of a monopod,
yeah,
which is essentially nothing more than a stick,
yeah,
and you would be absolutely shocked how much jiggle, for lack of a better term, you can take out of a photo just by putting it on a single point.
Yeah.
You would be surprised. You balance the camera on the stick, and you'd be surprised how much that will help. It won't make it perfect, and it's not as good as a tripod. But a lot of people carry monopods. They use them as walking sticks, or they use their walking stick as a monopod, and they get great nature photography as a result.
Yeah, good call. What are your thoughts on this, Mr. King?
There we go. I couldn't get the thing to turn off for some reason. I like it. Of course, I've lived in London, so I know the area. I'm kind of surprised. Of course, everybody, if you had gone there, everybody would like to see Big Ben, Westminster Abbey, a palace, Buckingham, Parliament. But this is excellent. I like
the
it.
typical touristy stuff.
Right. And this is just excellent. You're right. My eye first goes to that truck way up, next one, the first one, very up, right there. Go to that, then all the way to the side, and then finally the pedestrians. But I like it. It's excellent.
I'd say my only critique is there's no TARDIS.
You went there. You had to go there, huh?
Yeah, it's me. Come on.
Would you settle for K9?
Well, they still. Maybe. I was talking to a friend that lives in London. Said they still have a very few of the police boxes that are there. So they're taking them down slowly but surely.
Yeah, there's a
Because
few
everybody
up
thinks
as
of it as Doctor Who stuff, and they're saying,
there's a great Easter egg on Google Street View in London. There's a TARDIS on the side, and if you click on it, you can actually go inside the TARDIS and walk around the control room.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Geeks of the world unite.
Wow.
Damn straight.
Good gosh, I connected Charlie and Joey Kelley. This is probably not a good thing.
No good can come from this.
I like that kind of stuff, too.
What could possibly go wrong?
All right,
And all the
Mr.
doctors.
Edwin Boatswain, congratulations to you, my man, on winning this week's challenge.
Yeah.
I wish I knew what camera you use. Be sure to mention that to us here in the community this weekend or so. But you are now tasked with winning. With,
Also, Edwin, you need to define faffing.
That was so funny, man. You read his comments.
I've heard a lot of British slang, but I've never heard faffing.
Yeah, for those that can barely see it here on the screen, it says, in his comments, he was saying, taken while crossing Southwark Bridge after a meetup. Some faffing around with Snapseed to bring out the clouds, and then more faffing to bring the original warmth from lights back. Can't remember the exact order.
Sounds like a very, very different term.
Yeah, I'm like, faffing?
We cannot really. One of the terms that can be used for that, we cannot say on here.
Okay.
Well, fiddling comes to mind.
Fiddling.
That's part of it.
Yeah.
But also,
Yeah, we'll just leave it at that.
the
Yeah.
F word.
Oh wait. Here it is. The Oxford English Dictionary.
Oh
faff is-
gosh.
No, it says to spend time in ineffectual activity,
Right.
So it's not even that bad. which is similar to the other thing
Sometimes
that we
they
thought it was.
use
But
for that.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Next time, Edwin, use a slang term I've heard of, like shunting.
Shunting?
Yeah.
Never mind. I don't want to know. Don't want to know. Congratulations, Mr. Boatswain. You have won the challenge. So you are now on the clock to get us a new challenge for the week. And please be gentle on us. Thank you, sir. All right, and
Joey, this is
thank
for you.
you to the participants for submitting in their photos for the challenge this week. We always enjoy getting the participation for these things and looking through and seeing what people come up with and how they came up with it. The key is telling the story, number one, but number two, letting the rest of the community members know how you got that shot. What did you do? Mr. Boatswain went through and said what he did as he was faffing around with the shot to give us an understanding of how it came out, So make sure you folks are letting us know how you came up with this stuff or what your thought process is, because all that does is help out the other members in the community and help us get a little bit better with this craft. You know what I'm saying? All right. So before we get out of here, there were a couple updates out there. One in particular, Lightroom Mobile on your smartphone is now scot-free. Well, it was free to download originally and free to use for about 30 days, but it required you to have an Adobe Creative Cloud account. Not anymore. Now you can just download the app and use it to your heart's content. The only thing is you don't get the Adobe Sync where
That
you
used to have
edit
to be
something. Yeah, you edit a photo and you save it to your phone or what have you. You don't get that sync to your Adobe Cloud that you normally would get. But that doesn't matter, at least from an Android perspective, because if you're on Android and have Google Photos, when you save your photo and it goes to said directory, like in this case, the directory is called Adobe Lightroom, Android asks you, do you want to back this folder up? There you have it. So
Same with on iOS with the
probably goes
with
up to
the
iCloud, right?
the iCloud
it
photos.
does. It does. Well, most of the time, yes.
Most of the time.
When it works. And you're talking to a lifelong Mac user here.
Hey, we work on both, so
Yeah.
I hate them both and I love them both. So.
Equal
Just get a
opportunity.
Linux box and be done with it.
Yeah, exactly. But no, that is pretty big because that editor, folks, I can't say that it is my main editor, but I use it a lot in conjunction with the other editors that I have on my phone. One of the features I like about Lightroom is first the clarity option on there, and being able to adjust the highlights on there, because there's a difference in when you want to adjust exposure on your shot, to make it brighter or darker. But there are certain times where, like, say for instance, Edwin's shot, when you had those lights right there near the pedestrians, sometimes you can take the highlight adjustment and bring it down, and it make those lights a little less intensive. You don't necessarily dim the whole shot, you just dim the highlight parts of the shot. So it's little things like that. And then there's a denoising option in there. When we was talking about Michael Wilson's shot of the bridge, he was using Lightroom Mobile at the time, and you can just go in there and denoise some of the artifacts out as best you can. Now, it doesn't always work to optimal results, but it does a pretty good job overall. But
yeah, but when you do sync, I like to be able to sync and send it to my Lightroom on the desktop.
yeah,
Generally, as a okay, I did do it right. It's kind of a proof that all of my edits that I made on the device is what I wanted. Because editing on a screen like this is one thing. Then coming back to this 5K screen that I have right now, I said, "Oh, that looks horrible. I can actually fix it up a little better, then send it back to the phone."
right.
But for being free, and it says you can use Google Photos, which it will work on iOS as well, or you can use the iCloud Photos, or an Android way you do it like that. So it's I like it's a very strong editor.
Yeah.
Well,
King, being an iOS guy and a Mac guy, and I know you said you like to take the shots and sync them in your Creative Cloud, and so you can go back to your desktop. Do you also hit sync on your desktop to go back to your phone in particular? I do that from time to time. Do you do that?
What I do, I use it as the proof that I did it right, and then when I'll send it back to the phone, because sometimes I'd rather just upload. It's a little easier to upload to the phone to different things, except for sometimes the events, because the way they redid everything, it screwed up. Google screwed up a good program. I'm starting to use the desktop, but sometimes when I do that, it takes away the metadata that shows I'm on an iPhone. It just shows it just shows all that stuff. But whenever I can, I like to do that. Send it back to the phone. But it's generally the desktop is unless I really said, oh, I didn't do a good job, but it's more of a proof that I did it right, and I'll go back and forth.
Charlie, what editors do you use when you're putting your shots out there, like for Instagram and so forth? So I see you pretty active on Instagram.
Well,
if any editor.
I mostly take the picture and then I share it off to Instagram, and I don't do the filters. I just use the manual editing section I have.
Okay.
And I just kind of futz with it a little. I don't really. So I also have a rule on my phone where I won't take more than 2 photos of the same thing deliberately, just so I don't end up with unless I want something that becomes like I use Auto Awesome. So if I want an animated GIF or something, I'll let it do that.
Yep.
But otherwise, I only take like 1 or 2 pictures of anything because I want to force myself to. Because I'll never go through them. I will never go through them.
You don't want to. You don't want to be in decolor mode.
Yeah, I'm like, oh well, I took 18 pictures of this, but they're the same exact shot, and they're just a little. I'll sit there all day and try and figure out which one I want. So I force myself to not do that. So, but other than that, I vaguely know what things like ISO and whatnot mean. So I know enough to be dangerous, but I'm definitely not a photographer by any stretch. So.
Neither am I.
I might get lucky every once in a while, but that's.
I'm aspiring, brother. I'm not gonna sit here and claim to be one.
My hats off to anybody who does it professionally. That's all. So.
Yeah, definitely, bro. Definitely. All right. What are your thoughts on it, Mr. Kelley? I know you had used Lightroom for a little bit on the desktop, and then you went back to your other tools. Do you use it on your mobile?
I have not bothered. Um, it might be simply my stubbornness. I've been accused of a lot worse. But I do a fair amount of editing in Snapseed, but that's mainly because I like the filters that are used. They're quick, dirty, they get things done, and I find myself wishing that some of my editors that I use on the PC for my camera shots had the same ease and use and quality.
Yeah.
But quite frankly, I feel that Snapseed meets most of my needs, and
Yeah.
without the Lightroom cloud to sync it with, I don't feel that it adds an awful lot of value to me. Personally, I think that this is a lost leader. They are giving away the mobile app to get people to use Adobe products because they're
First,
losing.
it's free.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to say, hey, and by the way, this works really well with our $10 a month service.
Yeah.
You should buy our $10 a month service. You know,
It's actually not a bad deal either, but yeah.
No,
Yeah,
it isn't a bad deal.
I paid
but,
for it because with Aperture being killed off, I needed it. I like
Yep.
the photo app is okay, but it's not a professional app, and I like all the little tweaks and stuff I can do in it, which I cannot do in it. So I went to Lightroom and said, and I didn't want to have to every time they update it, pay for another one, pay for another one, pay for another. So just give them the $10 and said, okay, it gets updated to when it went to the Lightroom CC, it just went right to it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's like I do the same thing with Office.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I just wanted to share that and again say happy birthday to the community. And now we're going to allow these folks to sign off and let everybody know where we can find any of their work, any of their musings or blogs or anything that they'd like to plug. We'll start with Mr. Kelley.
Well, most people would tell me to plug my own pie hole. Shut up, bastard. So,
Where do
I
we
noticed
find
no
you
one
in
just
your work?
no one just screamed, no, that's not true. Anyway, you can find my life centered around my website, Joey, Joey, Kelley, KELLEY.com. You can find me on Facebook, YouTube, pretty much everywhere you want there. Ironically, I'm still not on Instagram. I don't know why. I just am not. I don't know.
It's all right. No one's judging you.
Yeah, I'm judging me. I don't know why. That's just never interested me, I guess. But yeah, start at joeykelly.com, and from there you'll find my photo website, my various blogs and Facebook page, and all these other different things.
All right. Thank you for joining us as usual, my man.
Glad to be here.
Next up, Mr. Michael King, where do we find you and your work?
Okay. First of all, Joey, if the shoe fits, wear it. But no, but I can be found at Michael King, either Michael King or Michael King 4023 on Facebook, Instagram, Google Plus, Twitter, Flickr, and being that this is the I think the third Saturday of the month. We might have changed it a little bit because of the holidays, but I can also be found at the Bel Air Civic Center at our Houston area Apple Users Group meeting.
What's that known as?
Hog.
Oh, by the way, I recently shared out on my Facebook page a graphic that says, remember when I told you I said I was normal? I might have been exaggerating.
You think?
Oh, and by the way, our newsletter is called, the editor of the newsletter, or not part of it, is called The Boss Hog.
Boss Hog.
Oh,
Jeez.
God.
So not right. Mr. Key, thank you as usual for hopping in and joining us here in the Hangouts. Next up, and almost lastly, my man, Mr. Charlie Hoover. Where do we find you and your work, my man, or anything else you'd like to plug?
Well, probably if you're looking for me, I've pretty much cinched up the Handle Geek questionnaire on pretty much everything. So if you're looking for my geek question of the day, which if you're at all even mildly nerdy, come on over. I do have to circle you, or someone in my circles has to have circled you in order for you to comment.
Yep.
Because I was getting a lot of trolls, and I'm sorry for anybody who does it. But otherwise, just try and tag me into a post. Geekscapes, those just happen every morning. I've got URLs for both. So we got geekquestioner.com will get you to my G Plus for one thing, and geekscapes.com will get you to the other. So
Sweet.
that's pretty much me.
That's awesome, man. I appreciate you hopping in tonight. I sent out just random invitations to people in the community to try to get some different people in here.
And I like this. I'm glad he showed up, because it's been the same people over and over. Of course, Sweeney, right now it's kickball time. As soon as that's over with, he'll be back doing this.
Yep, he'll be back in here raising hell as usual.
And it's nice to have fresh blood to pick on.
Hey, pick away. I'm used to it.
Yeah,
I do tech support for a living. I'm used to it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Definitely. Jeez.
Been there, done that, got the T-shirt, literally.
I go into people's homes and businesses, so bring it on. I'm whatever.
Yep.
Thank you again, Charlie. It's really good seeing you in here today.
Oh, no problem. Glad to see you. If I ever do my own podcast, I'm going to drag your ass in there too. So don't worry.
I'll be here, my man.
I'm available.
We're all available.
More the merrier, yeah.
And lastly, myself. Find me here on Google Plus, of course. Just search for Ant Pruitt. Yeah, Ant, not Anthony. Ant Pruitt, and it'll pull up a large bald-headed black dude, right? And you can also find me on Twitter at the handle Ant.
I wasn't going to say that.
What?
With a gray beard.
I love the peanut gallery here.
I'm sitting over here trying to be nice. I've got to not go there.
Oh,
No,
gosh.
No, there goes all the professionalism right out the window.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Large, bald-headed, bearded, gray-bearded black dude. There. Is that better?
So don't
Okay,
forget the swole thing.
There's a guy in our club.
Rip your arms off like a Wookiee.
Now, we got a guy in our club. He has, since his name is Doug. It's the big bald white guy. So yours is very close, but he's bald headed. That's the same thing. It's
It's what's on the tin is what's in the tin. Yeah.
Yeah. So you and him are in perfect company.
Oh my gosh.
White guy. So
Yeah.
Now all we need to do is get Portis back in here, black on a Mac.
Black on a Mac Portis. Jeez. Anyway, you folks can find me fairly easily here on these interwebs. Be sure to check out our website for the community. It's smartphone-photographers.com. On that website, you will find all of these Hangout videos as little archives, as well as other little blog posts sprinkled in here and there from little discussions that we may have had, and resources, if you will. You can also sign up to my YouTube channel, where these things are also going to feed there automatically. So just go to youtube.com/AntPruitt and hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate that. Not only will you see these Hangouts there, but you'll see my other little content that I put together, and it's usually mindless stuff. I think I put a fitness video up there today, but any other time it's stuff like that. My kids, random musings, stuff like that. And if you're interested in joining the Smartphone Photographers community, be sure to hit myself up or any of these guys here hanging out tonight and request an invite. And what's going to happen is we'll go through and do like a semi-background check on you. We're going to make sure you fit in with this community, because I don't want to deal with people spamming the community. I want the community to be filled with people that are in here to share what they're shooting with their smartphones, share how they're doing it, and also offer up tips and tricks to everybody else in the community. This is a big community about learning. You know, it's not about just showing off your product. You know, that's what your Instagrams and other stuff is for. I don't need you in here marketing to me. I want you in here to help me out and to help other folks out, and hopefully I can help you out as a community member. You know what I'm saying? Sorry if I'm sounding like a jerk, but I am what I am. All right, we're going to get out of here, and we try to hang out every Thursday at about 9 p.m. Eastern time, but being the end of the year, that's going to be a little bit sketchy for the time being, so just keep
And
following
next
and
week.
subscribe, and you'll be able to see when we're going on air or not, okay? And be sure to tell your friends and family about the community, and I appreciate all of the support. Again, happy 3 years old birthday, community, and we will see you guys on the next hangout. Y'all take it easy. Peace.